Hi, welcome to Module 1, Week 2. This week you're going to be using the learning materials and working through them to gain understandings of a little bit of the history of technology education or technologies education in early childhood years, and also understanding or beginning to engage with the overarching frameworks and policy documents that you'll be using both through your university studies and through your career. So firstly, within your learning guide, you'll start identifying a bit of a historical context of technologies education and technologies education in the early years. Traditionally, this was something that was focused on explicitly in the secondary years, even though a lot of what early childhood teachers do, their practices are about the types of thinking used for technologies education. So now it's just a little bit more explicit. So technologies education focuses on identifying the processes, what technologists go through when developing technologies, and problem solving, different types of thinking. It's also examining the social and historical aspects of technologies. Technology happens at a particular time for a particular purpose, so it needs to be situated within a context, and this is building on and linking to last week as well. There's also this thinking about it in terms of technology and how it is accumulated knowledges of practice. It's all about this technological applications, both in the children's lives and the people around them. And it's more of this understanding how the world works. And children, you'll find, and as you know, are very involved in working out how their types of worlds are constructed, both the natural world and the human world. And we're in a very fortunate place where a lot of children do have a lot of contact with both worlds. And so this is a way where within the early childhood years where children can really holistically develop those understandings of what's around them. And your job as a teacher is help them to develop those. As well as this week, you'll move from within the learning guide, you'll move from the historical component of technologies education, and you'll engage with some of the key documents that you're going to be using both through your career as a teacher and here at university. The first one is the Early Years Learning Framework. Now, this is an Australian government document that overarches the curriculum. It's all about principles and practices and outcomes for both early childhood educators and for the children. It's about play-based learning. It's about importance of communication and literacy and numeracy and technology and social and emotional development within those early years to support children understand their world around them and also lay that strong foundation for future schooling success. So, as part of this subject, there are different outcomes within the early years learning framework, which we'll see as a reading this week. But outcomes 4 and 5 are particularly pertinent to this subject this semester. So you're looking at outcome 4, which is children are confident and evolved learners, and outcome 5, where children are effective communicators. So really take the time this week as you're working through those readings and identify where this document sits and how it sits and how it's going to inform your teaching and learning throughout your career. You're also going to be engaged with the Australian curriculum. Now, the Australian curriculum comes at technologies education in different ways. First of all, there's the two distinct yet relevant subjects, related subjects of design and technologies and digital technologies. So this subject really focuses on those design and technologies, and then as you move through your degree, you'll meet more and be involved more with the digital technologies through your second year and beyond. There's also the ICT as a general capability within the Australian curriculum. So that means as part of all your work, there has to be a consideration of ICT within all curriculum areas. So it's not just about working from a computer. It's not about just having a subject or having a learning activity and going, well, let's just have the computer there and then that can tick that off. But it's not the types of thinking involved as part of design and technologies and digital technologies is really strong and relevant, and you'll engage with that this week in the learning guide, and you can understand the types of thinkings that are involved. So thinking about it so far as, for example, systems thinking, which is that ways to solve problems, computational thinking, design thinking, and all of these different concepts within the bigger picture of design and technologies and digital technologies. Now, to help you understand this a little bit more this week, you'll be directed. There are links in the learning guide and on in Learn JCU, which actually have these clips or YouTube clips for you to actually really understand the different related subjects within the Australian curriculum, and the activities this week will also help you identify those the differences and the similarities and what's involved. So the readings this week not only build on from last week, as we are still in Module 1, they also provide you with more understandings and more information from what's provided in the learning guide on both curriculum, policy, and information pertaining to technologies education in the early years. So the first reading is finishing the FLIR Chapter 1. So last week you read up to about page 19 from memory, and now you're finishing that chapter. If you need to read the whole chapter again, thinking about last week where you did your what is this working definition of technology or technologies, and still building on that. Also this week, the last reading is all about some iPads and education, and it's really good now to start your learning journal or strategies journal and start recording some really useful information that you find, or resources or apps that could be beneficial for you in your classrooms. So you'll also not only be viewing the understanding the Australian curriculum technologies key learning area, there's also a guide in there, a shape of the Australian curriculum for technologies, so you can really read more and find out and gain a holistic understanding of technologies education for the early years. And the early years learning framework is there too. And as I said, this is a document that you will use both in your career and now at university. So it's good if you have a really broad understanding, but have in the back of your mind, how does this relate to technologies education, and what does this mean to me as a learner and future teacher of technologies? So just to wrap up this clip this week, please be mindful as you work through the materials what the outcomes are for each week, and that will really help focus and strengthen your learning. So to find those, they're both at the beginning of the learning guide, they're as part of the agenda in the Zoom session. You'll also see them in your subject outline in here. And that can really help guide and focus your working and your learning each week. Thank you again for all your contributions last week on the discussion board. Some really interesting technology definitions happening there. And also thank you for those who, if you do need anything clarified, thank you for those people who've emailed, and don't forget to do that. Have a great week. Thanks. Bye.